Hey guys, what's up? Nico again here. And this 3D Printed Profits episode is going to be a little different. I don't have someone who actually has a 3D printing side hustle. I have with us Matt. Matt, where are you coming from, man?
I'm actually calling you from Hawaii at the moment. I'm in
Hawaii. Look at this
Oahu.
guy.
Yeah,
Work
yeah.
and
So
play, huh?
exactly, that's where I'm at now. But anyway, North Carolina is the home base.
So Matt is a financial advisor, okay? And I've always wondered, you guys have these you have your day job and all that stuff, and you're making 1,500, $2,000 a month. What are you guys supposed to be actually doing with that money? Are you supposed to be going on a vacation every month? Are you supposed to be, you know, buying expensive watches, cars? Hey, I'm in a 7 series now. You totally skipped 3, 5, and 6, right? I'm in a 7 series now. I'm in a G Wagon. What are we supposed to be doing? So I invited Matt over to talk about options in investing, right? Because I believe that when you start making money, your money, you guys should think of it as little soldiers, right? And you have your take your little soldiers and they go out and they make more soldiers, not like breed like in World War II, but you guys know what I mean. So, Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nico. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, man.
Oh, thanks for being here, man. So, a lot of our audiences, they all have side hustles or they're trying to make side hustles, right?
Sure.
And I wanted to talk about investing and how we can make our money grow further outside of just having our side hustle so that our money's actually doing what we want. So we're working for our money, right, to get the side hustle. Now I want
Right.
the money to work for us.
Absolutely. Well put. Yeah, absolutely. And every time, whatever side hustle it is, whether like 3D printing, whatever you're doing, the idea is that you're earmarking this money for something, right? And sometimes if you don't have an idea over your overall financial life, you're putting it towards something that isn't like a depreciate, like you said, a car, right? If you put all that money towards a car, that's a depreciating asset. You're literally not only losing money by putting money towards it, you're also losing money because the asset is depreciating. So you buy $100,000 car, it's going to end up being 50,000 just because you drove it off a lot. So right off the bat, that's a bad idea. But putting it to work, putting it towards an earning interest and making it grow, an appreciating asset like real estate, or if you're investing it in whatever, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cryptocurrency, whatever you're doing, putting it into a tax advantaged product as well, which is a retirement plan, is even better because you are basically taking a loan against let me rephrase that, the taxes that you're not going to pay by putting it into a retirement account like a 401k or an IRA. The IRS is technically giving you a tax-free or an interest-free loan on the money that you don't have to pay the taxes on. So for example, let's say you're making $100,000 between your day job and your side hustle, right? And you're putting in $10,000 towards your 401k because you are self-employed. Now that you have a side hustle, even if you don't own a business or you don't have an entity created, this is just money that's coming in into your bank account as a self-employed business. Um, let's say you're putting $10,000 into it. Uncle Sam is going to bill you on $90,000 come April 15th. Instead of 100, you put 10 grand into your pre-tax retirement. Now it's 90. So that whatever your tax bracket is, that's how much money you're saving. So if you're in 25% tax bracket, you put 10 grand into it, you just saved yourself $2,500 taxes for that year. So that is the huge advantage of putting money into that.
Gotcha, dude. That's that's a lot. So let's talk about growing our money, right? So what options do we have as far as growing our money? So you talked about 401ks, IRAs, Roth IRAs.
Yeah.
What is the best option really for someone who has already a day job and a side hustle? Like what should we be looking at?
So yeah, so let's take a step back on that actually. So you have a day job, right? Let's say you have a 401k at work already. You're allowed to put in 20,500, assuming you're under 50 years old, $20,500 into your 401k at work.
To
Okay,
20500.
20500. That's
Okay.
right. $20,500.
That's
So
for a 401k.
that's what you're allowed to put in as an employee of the company, your day job, right? So you can only hit that once. You can only hit that one time. So whether it's at work at your day job, or if you do it on your side hustle, you can only hit that 20,500 once. You can split it between multiple 401k plans, but you can only hit that 20,500 one time.
Okay.
But there's a whole nother level above that a lot of people don't realize. It's called employer contribution. So the match that your bosses, the business owner is giving you, and then if they give you profit sharing. So you may or may not have heard that term before, some of the listeners, but this is money. You can actually get that up to $61,000. So it can go from 20,500, and then the employer can give you another 40,500 if they wanted to.
Okay.
That number can be double dipped as many times as you want. Okay. So meaning if you're making a lot of money in this side business, you could potentially breach 6 digits of putting money into a retirement plan. And if you put in $100,000 into a retirement plan, it's going to save you $25,000 in taxes for that year. It's huge, huge, because it's almost like you didn't earn it for that year, and then it goes towards.
Dude, is that legal?
Oh, I can get people over $300,000.
Are you kidding me?
No,
I had to
there's all
ask, is
sorts of
that
different
legal?
plans.
Like,
Oh yeah,
do we have to stop
absolutely.
this podcast, bro?
So if you've heard of a pension plan, like old school Ford and GM companies, everyone used to have a pension plan. So it's called a defined benefit plan, and those you can put over $300,000 pre-tax. So we have multi-million-dollar clients who are bringing in several $1,000,000 a year, but they're putting in 350 or more thousand into this type of plan, and it's saving them over $100,000 of taxes every year. There's so many. Once you're a business owner, it's not even a business owner. So, which I think you'll be talking about this at some future episode at some point here, but it doesn't matter the entity. So like we've talked about, are you creating an LLC? You've talked about, you've heard someone say, are you doing filing as an S corp, sole proprietor? It doesn't matter what that entity structure is, as long as you have self-employed income coming in. You have a ton of options with tax write-offs and retirement plan options. It just opens up. Our tax code is created for the business owner, and if you have self-employed, I don't care if you're raking leaves and just having the lady next door give you cash or writing you a check to your name. You put in your bank account, that's self-employed income, and now you can write off the rake that you bought. You can write out, then you can put it into your own 401k or SEP IRA. There's so many different options for a business owner. It's just getting that self-employed income is number one.
So, and that's just for a 401k.
There's so many different levels. There's a SEP IRA, there's a 401k, there's a simple IRA, cash balance plan. There's a lot of different options, but to figure out which one, and I have a tool that you can share as well. That
we'll link that in the description below.
Absolutely,
sure.
30 seconds, and you'll know what you should be doing. But if you want to save less than $500 a month, just do an IRA. It's an individual retirement account. The maximum annually is $6,000 per year. So if you're going to do anything less than $6,000, just do an IRA or a Roth IRA. Okay. Just because you don't have to worry about all the compliance that comes into opening a 401k, because there's a little bit more wheels turning at the same time. But most people listening to this don't have employees. It's easy enough. You just do, if it's less than $6,000 a year, you just do an IRA or a Roth IRA.
Okay.
Now the next question is, what if you want to breach that number, right? Then you get into the solo 401k. A solo 401k is basically you're creating a 401k, but there's only one of you, or you and a spouse works too. You can do that, and that allows you to put up to $61,000 per year, depending. It's all calculated certain ways depending on how you're paying yourself and things like that. It's a little bit more in the weeds. Once you say 401k, things get a little bit more complicated on how to set it up and where to go. But if it says IRA, it's a lot easier. So it's a simple IRA, SEP IRA, just traditional IRA. But once you hit 401k, there's a little bit more compliance work.
Okay. So say I have I want to get specific here for
Mhm.
as far as examples go,
Mhm.
right? So say I'm making $2,000 a month extra
Mhm.
for, in my 3D printing business. I have a day job that already has a 401k, and I'm contributing max. I'm contributing $20,500 on it. And my
At work.
employer is matching it, right?
Mhm.
1 to 1. So I'm getting $41,000, right, every year as far as retirement goes.
Contributions. Yeah. Mhm.
And so what would a what would just give me a good option? Like what should I
Yeah.
do with that $2,000? Right? Say, put $1,000 into your employer, like so they can match another 20,000. Like what is a good
Yeah. Yeah. And realistically, they're not going to match 20,000. They're usually capping themselves, which would be nice. But usually it's like a 3% of what your 3 or 4% of what they're paying you is
okay.
what they're going to match. That's the realistic number. So if you're making $100,000 at your day job, they're going to give you an extra $3 or $4,000 on top of the 20,500. So let's just call it, they're going to give you 24 or 25,000. That's how much you're able to put in that work. But so you're maxing that out, and you said 2,000 on
Yeah.
your side hustle. Okay. Okay. So we're working with $2,000 a month that you're earning from that side hustle, right?
Yes.
So $2,000 a month, that's $24,000 per year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've already that 20,500 that's your employee contribution into your day job, right? You've already hit that once, so you can't double dip that part. You cannot double dip the employee contribution, but you can double dip the employer. Now, you as a business owner or with self-employed income can contribute as an employee of your own company and as an employer, right? So let's say you're doing 20,000 or $24,000. Now, this goes into how much you're filing, how much you can file, or how you're filing. So, are you filing as an S corp? Are you filing a Schedule C? Is when you really just don't have an entity set up and you're just filing it as yourself. So, you can do 20% of what you're paying yourself into the employer portion of the 401k, right? So, what's 20%? 20% of $24,000 is what? That's
$4,800.
$4,800. So $4,800, that doesn't make sense to put it into the 401k. It's unnecessary, right? So what I would say on that situation, you open up the IRA because then you put $6,000 in. That's
Gotcha.
more. The calculation benefits you just to do the IRA.
And this is pre-tax, right?
You can make it pre-tax or Roth.
Okay, Roth
And
is, and then you get taxed. You can contribute post-tax for the year, but as you're withdrawing, it
right.
doesn't get taxed.
So yeah, let's use an example on that, right? So that let's say you're doing 100,000, you're putting $10,000, like I said earlier, into basically any retirement. Don't worry about what type it is; it's irrelevant. But you're putting 10, you make 100, and you're putting 10 into something. So if you're doing all pre-tax, Uncle Sam's going to bill you on 90,000, right? That's the 100 minus the 10. If you do Roth, he's going to bill you on $100,000. So it's after tax, but the growth is all tax free as long as you follow the rules, and you have to wait till you're 59 and a half, basically.
Is
So
there a limit to how much you can put in the Roth IRA?
6,000, $6,000, but you can do a Roth 401k at
Is
work
it
or
does
your
does
own
that
company.
work the same way?
20,500, exactly the same way. It's just a Roth 401k. So you have those, and there's income limitations involved in Roth and pre-tax IRAs and things like that. So you could actually potentially make too much money to qualify for a Roth IRA.
I know several people um
Yeah.
who are making quite a bit of money on their 3D printing
Yeah.
businesses.
Well, that's
You know
good
who you
because
are.
that's good because then you can do the Roth 401k and there are no income limitations. So the 401k has no income limitations. Individual retirement, which is IRA, that does have income limitations.
Gotcha. And we can put as much as we want into several different retirement accounts all across the board. And then when we're done at 59 or and a half or whatever, we can say, all right, game time, time to collect.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you're like I said, the 20,500, the 61,000, you can cover that as many times as you want, and then creating a withdrawal schedule for each one of them, and making a good game plan at the tail end of it. There's a lot of strategies there, but those are different ways to do it. So, like I said, there's a bunch. Retirement plan it's a vast world of what you can put your money into. I mean,
Yes,
there's
clearly
a
now.
dozen or more, yeah, options. And how do you do it? And then the investments inside of it is even a whole nother conversation. You can mold and create custom plans very easily. The stuff you find online, like we call them robo plans or robo advisors, that's it. That's all you got. And if you own your own 401k and you create your own 401k, you can invest in stocks, bonds, cryptocurrency. You can buy duplexes and triplexes or whatever you want inside of your plan. And you get all those tax benefits. So you can basically invest in almost anything you want just because you own the plan. It's a lot more custom than a lot of people think.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought you just put money in a savings account and pray that sucker grows.
Yeah. So the term 401k, the term IRA, it has nothing to do with the investment. It's an IRS code. That's all it is. It's how is it taxed? It's the product, it's the vehicle. And then how do you invest? You can invest in a stock, let's say Apple stock, outside of a 401k or inside of a 401k. And it's going to do the exact same thing. It's just taxed differently. That's the
So
only
you're just
difference.
putting money into an account, and then, like you
You get
said,
tax benefits. That's it.
right. And then the tax code is, IRA, Roth IRA, 401k, so on and so forth.
Yeah. 401k is a subset
Oh,
of the tax code 401a, actually. And then if you work for a government entity, it could be 403b. There's the 457. There's so many different retirement accounts out there. 401a is like the top echelon, and then there's all these different options underneath it.
401a, A's in alpha.
Yeah, that's just like a vague. You don't even have to worry. It's not. You can't. You're not going to go and open up a 401a. That's just the tax code. The 401k, all these other things are types of
I
each
always
different.
wonder, is
Yeah.
there like a 401b, C, D, E, F, G?
No, no. It's specific 401k, 403b. Why do they name that? I have no idea. I have no idea
Gotcha.
what they did that for.
This is so bonkers, man. Dude,
Yeah,
we
it's
went
just
down a
scratching the surface.
rabbit
Yeah.
hole.
I could I've done series. Well, with we talked to, there's a gentleman named Mike that we both know. I've done series with another guy named Brent. We'll do 10, 20 episodes and just keep coming up with different topics on this because there's so many things out there. It's limitless on how many things you can do inside of 4K
Yeah,
and
I
how you
didn't
can
know that.
design it.
The
It's all custom.
customization is bonkers.
A lot of stuff like the ones that you see online, the highly advertised stuff, those are like they call them prototype plans. And a
Mm-hmm.
prototype plan is plug in and move on, and that's it. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to make decisions. But
That
there's a
is the
lot
more
of cool stuff.
mainstream look on retirement. Because, like I told you,
100%.
I had no idea, dude. I thought you just put money in an account and pray it grows, and that's how you did the thing.
Yeah,
Now
there's a
you're
lot
like,
of
no, you can
finesse.
do so much more in it.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
especially for
say I
high
wanted
income
to
earners.
invest in real estate, you
Yeah,
can create a retirement account based on that.
yeah. So for like, think about it this way: you have a 401k for your business, right? You can have as many. There's like the custodian is the company that's holding it. Is holding the money. The 401k is the designed plan and how the IRS code, right? The custodian is where do you log in to see how the investments are doing, right? So there's a lot of mainstream companies out there. There's Fidelity, there's Vanguard, things like that. That's where the money is. But you can have as many custodians inside of one 401k as you want. So you could have some of your money in real estate. You can have some of your money in crypto. You can have some of your money in mutual funds, however you want, all under this 401k umbrella.
Dude. And so say I have a 401k, I can have a Roth, I can have all of that, right? If I really wanted to.
Within income limits.
Okay.
So I can't remember what the 2022 income limits are for the Roth IRA, because usually we're doing 401k. let's just call it 150,000 is some, and it gets closer and breaches 200,000 if you're married filing jointly. But if you go over that amount, then you cannot do a Roth IRA. You can only do a Roth 401k. So there's income limitation. It's an easy Google. You Google what's IRA income maximums, and it says it right on the IRS.gov. Google will spit it out. It's pretty easy.
This is so bonkers, Matt. So is there a way to contact you to make everything in my head just unspin?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So like, I'm going to give you the link to share with everyone. It's called our evaluator. It takes 2 seconds to plug in. It's based on your goals. We always ask 2 questions to business owners. It's what is your primary objective? Do you want to max out, or if you have employees, is this for them or is it for you, kind of thing? And then how much do you want to spend? The evaluator will do it. And then our website, it's 401k.expert. It's as simple as that.
401k expert. It's so brandable. God, I love it.
Right? Yeah. And then we have a Facebook
Man.
group. We have a Facebook group. It's Business Owner's Guide to 401ks. Just launched that, and we have all sorts of videos and all sorts of content in there for people to
The
learn.
ultimate resource to your retirement and your 401k. Look at
Exactly.
that. Matt, we make sure you send me all of that so we can link
You got
that
it.
in the description below. Dude, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna look at my notes, and if I see if I can connect these dots, for sure we're gonna connect offline.
That's fine.
People don't need to see my retirement accounts. So
Right.
again, Matt, thank you so much for being here, man. I really, really appreciate it. Make sure you guys tune in. Like I said, as always, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific, to get interviews just like this delivered right to you. Matt, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks, Nico.